What's up, Internet? This is Aaron, Overland, Nevada. On our channel, we haven't done many product reviews. We've obviously applied a lot of products to our trucks, rooftop tents, refrigerators, like 12-volt refrigerators. As you see here, I bulletproofed this 250. And we haven't done a whole lot of discussing that kind of stuff. However, I've actually been asked to look at some LED lights. If you guys are on Facebook with, a part of a group, vehicle group, there's a good chance that you may have been asked to do a review on similar lights as well. This is going to be my way of taking a look at it. Now, they are LED headlights, high and low beam headlights. So one of the things I think is a waste of time is discussing the difference between LED headlights and halogen headlights. 9 times out of 10, if the LEDs are worth their weight in what you pay for them, they're going to be better than halogen bulbs. They're going to be crisper, cleaner, brighter, and even quicker to turn on. So I'm going to just forego the whole is it better than halogen or not, because that's not really the question. The question is whether or not they are quality. So here is the actual bulb. Now I'm sure these are manufactured maybe by a couple different manufacturing companies and branded by many, but here is the actual company for the branding of this one, MarsAuto. Few things that I can say I like about this right off the bat. So far I haven't seen anything I don't like. The question is whether or not there's going to be a lot of functionality to the bulbs, whether the actual LED bulbs work or they don't. But right off the bat, I'm looking at the CNCing of the aluminum, and it's clean. There's not many burrs at all. If you look at the inside of the cutouts for the cooling fan, you really have to look hard to see anything that would be a burr or left material. So that's pretty clean. The rest of that whole aluminum casing's actually very clean. Now, when I'm looking at the molding of the plastic, overall it looks pretty decent. The tabs that are sticking out to retain it to the casing of the light, there's some questionable spots on it. Whether or not that's going to be an issue, we'll find out when we put it in the actual headlight casing. The other thing that I'm noticing I think I like is the rubber seal here. It's a pliable rubber. It's not a rigid plastic or a rigid rubber that may be affected by dry rot or heat rot. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, so it gets hot here. Obviously this is going in a 250, which this engine bay produces an insane amount of heat. So so it's good to see that's a rubber that I feel like is going to seal. The question is whether or not the tabs will hold it tight enough against the actual casing of the headlight. So we'll see when we get there. I don't know if this is called a ballast with an LED bulb. I'm sure there's just a chipset inside there that's talking to LEDs. However, this is clean. It feels like an aluminum, probably a very cheap aluminum. However, it feels nice, and in the packaging there is a double stick pad that you put on the back of this that will adhere to the back of that light so that this isn't bumping around as you're driving. I'm off-road a lot, so that's a plus for me, that I don't have to find my own 3M double stick tape and put that in there, that this is kind of just already part of it. The other thing that looks like a plus is it is set up for this truck. So this is a Ford lighting harness, so it should plug in just perfectly. The question is whether it will. It looks nice. There's a little bit of burring on the molding of the plastic, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. We'll see how the stock one sits into this once we plug it in. So that is the bulb. This is the light. 50 bucks on Amazon, MarsAuto. And so from the instructions that I've seen is that the way this is supposed to end up sitting is when you push it in and clock it, it should either sit vertically this way or this way. Haven't figured that out yet because I haven't put it in yet. So how this sits will probably be a big deal with how the reflector is designed to reflect light. So we're gonna look at that closely. The last thing I want to do is have a light in there that's not going to work well with the reflector. The reflector is designed to do a specific job, and if it's not doing its job, then these lights don't do me any good. I would go back to the halogen bulbs immediately. So we're gonna cut away from these for a minute, and we're gonna talk about an F250 specifically. So with an F250, I'm going to talk about just replacing a light bulb. If you're watching this, this will be specific to an F250. A lot of headlights are going to be the same. I have a 4Runner, 1999 4Runner, that I'm going to be doing this to as well. However, with that light, it's simple. All I have to do is reach down behind the light, pull, twist, and pull, and that'll pull the whole harness out with the bulb connected. So that'll be easy. However, with an F250, we're just going to talk briefly about how to pull that out. It's really simple. Okay, so here's where we're at. We've got the 5.5 millimeter screw. I'd call it a bolt, but it's a screw. There are 4 of them that you need to pull out. There are 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So I just have a 1/4 inch Ryobi ratchet drill that you can pull the tops off obviously really easily. The bottoms, you'll need an extension. Chances are they'll just drop out below the truck because of how it lies, unless you have a really good magnetic tip, which I would recommend. And then the other thing you'll need to do is pull out the 4 5.5 millimeter head screws off the grill. So going back here to this light, once you get the grill spaced out just enough, you can slide the light back, and then with any luck you can get past the grill, and then well, it's turning out to be a little bit of a geometry quiz here. So it's catching on the bottom bumper. There we go. So now I have it out far enough. Back here I can twist and pull, and there's my whole bulb casing. So I can undo that, and now I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that rubber feels very similar to the LED bulb. So this is the stock bulb. As many of you guys know, don't touch the actual bulb with your finger. The oils on your finger will end up causing the light to blow. You don't want to do that. I'm not gonna trash this because this will be a good backup, or it may need to go back if these lights aren't any good. So that comes out, the LED comes in. Okay, so we have this casing open now, and so far I'd rate this, I mean, it's changing a light bulb, so if you do anything with your vehicle, this is about a 1 on the scale of difficulty. So I'm looking at this bulb now, and I see there's 2 tabs that are small, 1 tab that's large. So this is only go in one way, which pops down in just like that, and then it twists tight. And that twists in really nicely. It's nice and tight. The one thing I'm concerned about is if you look into the casing, you see that the bulb is actually sitting diagonally. So you can see the side of the bulb, the skinny side is right here, and so it comes down diagonally across the lamp. I don't know if that's a design flaw or if it matters. However, when I watched the instructions on this, it wasn't supposed to, it was pointed out that it was supposed to line up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out this install, and then we will look at that from a practical standpoint. Okay, so I got a little Windex here. I'm going to clean off the side of this casing here. Now, want to make sure that what I'm doing is correct. So I'm going to pull this back out, and I'm going to try it in different ways. Won't go in there. Won't go in there. Seems like we've got one of 3 options here. I pop it in that way, the way it's supposed to go in. You can't turn it backwards to clip it the other way. You can only turn it one direction, and it stops. It's firm. I can't do anything else there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the complete install, and we'll look at whether or not that bulb orientation becomes an issue. So I'm going to go down below here, and I don't know if you saw, but the light actually came out of its connector. That's not a issue of the connector. That's an issue of my truck. I broke the clips that hold it together. So I'm going to just stick that down like that. I'm going to go slide the light back. Let me see here. There's a few variables. Got to make sure the wiring harness is getting back behind the hole. Got to make sure it's sliding in the right direction and clearing all the other components. So that feels like it's going in. We're pressed up against every part of the body there, so we're square. So before I screw this all back together, what I am going to do is we're going to check to make sure it works. Definitely brighter than a halogen, but we know that. That's not the question. Okay, so the one thing that you couldn't see from this camera angle was the transition from the low to high beam. Now, when I had the camera faced at the light, I'm sure the camera is just completely washed out from all the white light. You may have seen a flicker when I changed it. However, what you couldn't see was the wall. And on the wall, I could see a distinct change from a low beam to a high beam, which is a good thing, because that tells me that the orientation of this bulb inside the casing is actually most likely correct. Now, it's a slight assumption on my part because I don't know exactly how those are supposed to be oriented inside there to make the lines from high to low beam correct, but what I did see was that distinct line change, and so that's a plus, and we'll verify it tonight. Once it gets dark, we'll back the truck out, we'll pull the garage down, and we'll actually have a flat surface that we can shine the lights onto and see if there's a distinct pattern. Now, if I'm getting a flat line that's changing here to here, that's good. If it looks kind of cocked and it's going out this way, I'll probably pull the bulbs. So one thing I want to do recap on is that this comparison is not between this LED bulb and other LED bulbs. I don't have those to actually do that. This comparison is not between this LED bulb and high-end halogen bulbs. I don't have that to compare this. I can say that high-end halogen bulbs are good. They you get what you pay for with there. They're expensive, but you do get what you pay for. And so this comparison is not to that. The only thing I have is whether or not this LED bulb is better than that standard bulb, and they are in fact the standard bulb. These are just the standard Sylvania H13s. They're not the Silver Stars. They're not the brands that tier up between those. It's the baseline halogen bulb. And so the question is functionality. So far, I'm liking what I see. The fans kick on when the light's on. It looks like the high to low beam works just perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all together with the 2 bulbs in it. We'll back the truck out tonight, and we'll actually have a flat surface to look at the difference between that high and low beam and whether or not it's actually flatlining across the garage or cocked one way or the other. Alright, so it's gotten dark enough. I didn't want to get too dark so that the camera wouldn't pick things up, but I'm going to be real quiet here for a second. You can hear fans running on the LED bulbs, which probably won't be too annoying, especially on a 250. It's pretty loud as it is. So that is the low beams. So I'm going to flip onto the high beams there, and they're not horribly off, I don't think. They went higher. Now the driveway's not completely level both directions, and so that may have a little bit to do with it, but they look decent. They're definitely a lot wider than the standard bulbs, and yeah, I think I'll run them for a little while, and then if I have any major changes, major issues with them, I will update on it. But I think they're going to be winners. I think they're going to work out really well. So MarsAuto, I'll put a link in the description. I think I'll be happy with them. Like I said, if I have any changes in them, I'll definitely update my reviews and my video posts. So there we go. Thanks for watching this. If you guys like these silly little videos that we're putting out, like and subscribe. We get some thumbs down. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Alright guys, thank you.